no, Lego, why are you going out there and making videos about things that were written about 2 days ago? I get it, there's so much desire for urgency and timeliness, but at the same time, there are so many different things that have popped up over the past few days that it's tough to find the time to fit everything into a schedule, which is kind of why we're making more videos, especially since, I have the hardware now to be able to keep up with a higher output, but still. Today we are talking about an article published on the Ottawa Sun by Bruce Garrioch 4 days ago. This is his insider trading piece, wherein he goes over different things around the NHL. The title of the piece reads that GM Brad Treliving never rests in search to help the Leafs defense corps. Now from that, you could really infer where this article begins, but I will leave a link in the description if you want to read more about this yourself, because there are some extended ideas that go beyond the scope of Brad Treliving and his Leafs. There are a bunch of other conversations about everybody else, which is why this article is important, because if you scroll down into what it talks about in regard to the Montreal Canadiens, there is a very interesting update that we've gotten in regards to the Habs goaltending situation. Now, we've already made our few videos talking about which teams were involved in Sam Montembeault trade talk. We talked about the Devils, we talked about who else was in there? The Oilers was always in that conversation. We had talked about the Jack Campbell swap, whatever. We also talked about Cayden Primeau and whether or not he was a legitimate trade target in the eyes of these NHL teams too. My opinion, he probably shouldn't be, but he was still there. And so, because Montembeault got signed, because Primeau isn't really the best player out there, that leaves one remaining, Jake Allen, as potentially the top trade target that the Montreal Canadiens have. And what this article on the Ottawa Sun does is it goes over the updates in regards to Allen. Take a look at the net gains part of this piece. We've heard plenty of whispers about the Edmonton Oilers looking for a solution with their goaltending situation, but we're told Seattle Kraken GM Ron Francis has also been shopping around. Neither Philip Grubauer nor Joey Daccord has been consistent for the Kraken this season, and the club is concerned. And in order to just get the updated numbers, we'll look at the Kraken goaltending situation on our own. Daccord has an .898 save percentage and a .292 goals against average. That guy hasn't really been the best, but he's been there. And then you have Philip Grubauer. .883 save percentage and a .326 goals against average. The tough part is, Philip Grubauer is making $5.9 million a year till the end of 2027. That is not $5.9 million caliber goaltending there. Joey Daccord is okay in terms of the dollar amount. That guy's only making $1.2 mil. But then you have Chris Driedger, who isn't even on the team anymore. That guy's making $2.5 mil, and he's in the minors. So, yeah. Kraken goaltending hasn't been the best this season, eh? The talk of the town is that the Kraken are among the few teams that have reached out to Montreal Canadiens GM Kent Hughes to see what route he is going to take with his netminders. The club just signed starter Samuel Montembeault to a 3-year extension, so he's not going anywhere. That means the Habs are at least willing to discuss moving veteran Jake Allen or possibly Cayden Primeau. Montreal is carrying 3 goalies because the club is concerned that if it attempts to send Primeau down to the AHL, he'll get picked up on waivers. Allen, who is 33, signed a 2-year deal in the offseason with a cap hit of 4.4. If the Habs do want to move him, he'd have some say because he has a 7-team no-trade clause, which means Montreal just can't trade him anywhere. The Kraken are not alone in their pursuit of goaltending because that's been an issue for the Oilers all season. But it's also interesting to note that there is talk the Buffalo Sabres have been looking for a veteran goalie and may have sniffed around on Allen. Right now, the Sabres are hoping that goalie Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen can hold the fort until GM Kevin Adams can get his situation figured out. And that is a very intriguing update, because not only is Seattle being tossed into the mix as a potential team for Allen or Primeau, which I'm just going to assume Jake Allen may be the main guy. Look, we talked about this already in a bunch of prior videos, but Cayden Primeau, while he has looked good in some games, he doesn't have the numbers to back up being a potential starter in the NHL at this point. So if you're a Seattle Kraken team going out there and trying to get your guy, trying to get your new goaltender to reinstate some vigor into the net-minding position, Cayden Primeau isn't really the guy that I think instills the most confidence. Now, Jake Allen, on the other hand, you could say his numbers are only slightly better than Primeau's this year, but Allen has a much longer amount of time spent in the NHL. His longevity is unmatched in this situation. He's got a reputation. Everybody knows that he was really good, and he can still be good. There are some nights where, admittedly, he drops the bag a little bit, but the Canadiens' defense doesn't really help him out. But still, Allen has his good nights. he is very well capable of being a guy to help your team out. Now, as to what magnitude that is, that's up to you to decide, but Seattle going out there and looking at a guy like Allen, I feel like he could be a pretty good upgrade over what they've got going on right now, since the Kraken have not really been the team to get a good save out of their goaltenders. Honestly, with the amount of shots blocked that guys like Adam Larsson and Jamie Oleksiak and Eli Tolvanen are having, maybe these guys should come in the net instead. But when it comes to the Buffalo Sabres, this is a really interesting one, and even more so interesting, in my opinion at least, than the Seattle Kraken. Because the Sabres have also rotated around 3 goalies on their team. UPL has a .907 save percentage and a .281 goals against. He's been pretty alright. Eric Comrie has had a few starts, .863 save percentage, .401 goals against. He has not been good. Devin Levi has an .886 save percentage this year and a .344 goals against. He's looked alright for the most part, and, there are a few games that stand out right away as Devin Levi victories, like that Boston Bruins game a few days ago. That was just quintessential work. But holistically, the body of work and the sample size provided has not shown the best results just as a whole yet. So, the fact that the Sabres, who already have 3 goaltenders rotating around, would be interested in getting a veteran guy to hold down the fort, you know what? It makes sense, but at the same time, it's not the outcome that I would have expected. This is a formula that the Buffalo Sabres worked with already with Craig Anderson, and it worked out pretty well, honestly. So to see them try to get another veteran guy, a veteran presence to stabilize the load, hold the fort down, give a few pointers to Devin Levi and UPL, that's not really surprising when you talk about it like that. It's just now you have to think, okay, if the Seattle Kraken are talking to the Montreal Canadiens about goaltenders, they're probably going to focus on Allen. And if Buffalo is also talking about Allen in particular, then, hey, that's pretty good, right? There may be some sort of a bidding war going on if everything goes the way Kent Hughes wants it to go. Once these two teams get a hold of, hey, the other team is going out there targeting our guy, then it makes it so much easier for the Canadiens to say, okay, well, Seattle, Ron Francis, you want him? Well, Buffalo's offering this, and then Seattle ups their price, and then Kent Hughes hits up the Sabres. Hey, the Kraken are offering this stuff, and then the Sabres say, okay, well, we'll add to our bid even more. This could be a pretty good opportunity. And if Jake Allen ends up going to, Buffalo, for example, and the Kraken are still desperate for a goaltender, if they really want, then, hey, send Caden Primo over to Seattle, get one of their bad goaltenders who is not going to be, all too great in return, and get some extra assets on top of that. I don't know, make the trade for 2 guys. Okay, that's a little sicko mode. Never mind. I take that back. Montreal fans, please don't crucify me for insinuating making a trade for both of these guys, but either way, if you're a Kraken fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of trading for Jake Allen? A guy who definitely isn't in his heyday anymore. He's not in the prime of his career. I'd say that was probably towards the end of his St. Louis Blues stint 4 years ago. That's when he was at his best, maybe. But he still is good enough, and you could very well debate he may provide a better service than what your guys up in the NHL right now are doing. Joey Daccord has been maybe playing a little bit above his pay grade, but Philip Grubauer definitely has not been. And then you have Chris Driedger, who isn't even on your team anymore, is in the AHL. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about getting a guy like Jake Allen. If you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, what are your thoughts on getting somebody like this to stabilize the load and to just make it easier for these younger guys to adapt? The Craig Anderson situation worked out well, I would say, but is Jake Allen the next iteration of that? Do you feel it's appropriate to go out there and get yourselves a 3rd goaltender like this after having 3 on your team already? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think a trade would look like? What do you think the returns could be? Article is going to be linked in the description if you want to go ahead and read this. It's all there if you want to see more about the entire Montreal, Buffalo, Seattle goaltending conversation. We haven't even talked about Edmonton much in this video, so that adds an entire other layer of conversation to that. But finally, of course, if you're a Canadiens fan and you're thinking about Jake Allen getting traded to one of these 2 teams, what is it that you would want in exchange for Allen and his services? He's definitely been an important guy the past few years, but if he's being offered in a trade for XYZ, what do you think that XYZ is that makes you say yes? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.